Hey everyone, it's Zach Wright with IMEO Company, Improving Management, Employees, and Organizations. Today, we're continuing the conversation from vision to mission. Now we're talking about strategy, specifically strategy planning, which will tie into the next video, which is how you actually execute your strategy. So today, we're going to be talking about some checklist items that you want to make sure that you have when building your strategy. We're going to be looking at how we are building our business model canvas for IMEO. So we're going to kind of go into what a strategic session looks like as we build it ourselves. So if you're interested in that, keep watching this video. So what we're looking at on the screen here is what people call a business model canvas. Now, if you're not familiar with this, the purpose of a business model canvas is to really identify the differentiators of your business, how it's going to operate, key resources, and different things like that, how you're going to get it out to the market, what are you spending, and then what are you bringing in. So let's go ahead and go through this one by one. I'm going to be starting at key partners over here. So key partners is kind of self-explanatory, but just to break it down, what partners will help you achieve your goal and build your business, or continue to build your business, or add more customers to your business? So that's what we're talking about here. Now, you can have different types of partners. You can have technological partners who are going to help you if you are another technical partner. Maybe you have integrations together. If you're a service company like IMEO is, we are partnered with GTM Hub and Dana Growth. Now, GTM Hub is going to be our technology company partner who helps us supply software, OKR software, to our clients. And then Dana Growth is more of a go-to-market or a GTM strategy hub, where they're going to help startup companies build out their go-to-market motions. And where we come into play is in two sides. It's either helping with the go-to-market operations and or the OKR program. So that's an example of what we're talking about with key partners. Then we're going to go over here to key activities. So whenever we're talking about key activities, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like, but what are the activities that would enable you to deliver your value proposition, right? So once you identify your value proposition, or as we see on the screen, what makes you better than others, now, once you identify that, you're going to be able to break down the key activities that you need to present to partners, to customers, to potential prospects, that kind of stuff, right? So those activities could be inbound sales, and you're giving out something that is driving demand. So maybe it's on your website, or maybe it's a lead generator with an ebook. Whatever the case is, those are the types of activities that you would do for an inbound motion. Now, outbound motion might be something a little bit different. For us, we're leveraging Success with Systems to help build and implement our LinkedIn automation outreach sequences. Now, that's outbound because we're outwardly reaching out, cold prospecting through LinkedIn, and we're leveraging specific lists to go in and find the right people. Okay, key resources. So what we're looking at here is who or what are your key resources. Now, I've put into brackets here just because that's a very broad term, resources, and I wanted to break it down where you could actually have something to think about. So whenever we're talking about resources, we're talking about capital, equipment, machines, intellectual property, patents, your personal experience, especially if you're a service industry, again, like we are. I'm promoting my own background, and I'm promoting where I've been featured. Like I've been featured in Lattice, talking about how we rolled out OKRs all the way to the individual contributor from top to bottom. So every single employee. But then I've also been featured in Lattice Resources for Humans on a panel interview. I've been featured in Demand Base, whenever I'm talking about go-to-market operations and different things like that, really build into the ability to trust you as someone who's looking to invest in your company and you provide them services. So you're really creating that trust through your different resources. Then we also have an example of use cases. So specific clients that you've worked with that you can share that story. Now, if you have had enough clients, then you can have different verticals, or you can have specific industry use cases. So if I'm going to, let's say, a tech startup, and I'm able to present them with a company that is also a tech startup where we've already implemented our OKR program package to them, we can deliver that. We came into this industry, this XYZ industry. We delivered our OKR program. This is where they started, and then this is where they are now. So that's another key resource to drive that engagement. Now let's jump over to customer relationships. This is really asking yourself, how will you interact with your customers? Now, you can get really nitty gritty here, or you can keep it high level, but are you going to engage with your customers through LinkedIn? Is it going to be on YouTube? It's basically asking yourself, how are you going to engage with your customers? Is it going to be through Slack? Is it going to be through email? There's so many different things that you can add here. Are you going to have a referral program? The list kind of goes on. But what you're really doing here is you're asking yourself, how do you want to interact with your customers? And going back to a service industry or a service company, you want to make sure that you're not working all hours of the day or the week or the year because you didn't set any boundaries with your customers, right? Whenever we come into a project, we want to clearly identify that, okay, these are our hours of operations. You can escalate it based off of this SLA, service level agreement. So if it's a priority one, we'll answer within 24 hours. If it's a priority two, it might be 72 hours. If it's a priority three, which is lower, then it could be within that week. But you want to establish those specific expectations so your customer understands how you operate and they're going to have a good experience. Now, if we go underneath customer relationships, we're looking at channels. So how will you communicate your value proposition? Now, this is probably the one that people are most familiar with whenever we're talking about social media, but it's not always just social media. But let's say you have an Instagram account, you have a TikTok account, you have a YouTube channel, you have a podcast, you post on LinkedIn and Facebook, whatever the case is, these are your channels in a social status or a social interaction. Now, there's also going to be other interactions as well. So for us, we have it set up on our website, but then we also have landing pages too, where if you fill out a form or you sign up for our newsletter, one of two things is going to happen. If you sign up for our ebook, then you're going to go ahead and get into this automated workflow through of email sequences that's going to help you navigate on what can OKRs do for you. At the same time, you're going to get into our welcome nurturing campaign. Now, excuse me. Now, that is something where we're looking at more long term. So it's just week by week, where the other sequence that I mentioned earlier is a little bit quicker going through the process. But that's another way that we're going to reach out. And on the other back end of that is we might have Google ads running on a landing page because we want our potential customers to do this one specific thing. So for example, we have a specific landing page where we're asking you to download the OKR guide. And if you do that, then you go through those workflow automations, right? Okay, so that's channels. And then each part of these really deserves their own strategy, but this is how you can formulate something where everybody on the team understands what we're trying to accomplish and how we're operating as a business. So going into the last three here, customer segment. Who is your customer? Now, this is also known as identifying your ICP or your ideal customer profile. or your ideal customer persona. There's a couple different ways to say it out there. But really what this is saying is, who are we going to target? What industry are they in? What type of revenue are they bringing in? How many employees do they have? Have they received seed fund rounding, or are they in series A, B, C, D, E, F? Whatever the case is, or are they public, private? Basically, you're trying to identify as much as you can what your ideal customer will look like. And that is very important, because once you identify this, then you're able to create specific lists or buy different data from data companies where you can start to target your ideal customer profile. The benefit of this is that you're able to actually target people with your offer where they're more likely to be interested. There's a lot of noise out there whenever it comes to email marketing, whenever it comes to selling. So if you can niche down, for example, we're an OKR, an objectives and key results coaching and consulting firm, right? That's what we focus on. Now, if there's another firm out there that does performance management, but they don't necessarily do OKRs, then that's where we can swoop in and take that customer from them, or ultimately win that deal. So this is something that you really want to take the time to focus on. Do your market research, do your market analysis, understand your competitors. And then this is where you're going to be able to receive the most impact, in my opinion. Now, the last two here, cost structure. What we're talking about here is identifying your major revenue eating activities. What that really means is, what does it take to operate your business, right? There's a term out there, OpEx, your operating expenses. So you want to be able to define every single thing that is coming out of the business. Now, that could be your computer cost, that could be your rent, your lease, that could be the different tools that you have. For example, we use Loom, as you can see here, and we pay $97 a year. I think it went up a little bit, but we paid $97 a year. That is a revenue cost. That's an OpEx cost. So we want to be able to put it into a list to understand our operating cost as an entire company. Not just, you can break it down into different departments, but the goal is to have a full-on operating cost, because then it goes into the revenue stream, which is how you will make money. If you can take both of these, then you'll actually understand if you're actually making money. So whenever it comes to a lot of companies, one of the number one reasons, or it's in the top 5 reasons why businesses fail, is because they don't have enough capital. And what happens is, over time, you're allowing the operation expense cost to get over the top. And what that means is that you're not bringing in enough revenue, but you're constantly dishing out month over month or year over year more than what you're bringing in. And ultimately that's going to make you go bankrupt. So this is very, very important as well. Now, revenue stream is not just that. It's how you're going to make money. So if you are, let's use an example. If you're an IT company, are you going to charge for your software on a monthly recurring basis, an annual recurring basis? Is it a one-time fee? Are you going to be charging license? So that's the type of things that we're talking about. For us, using my own company, IMEO, what we're going to do is we have a project-based approach at the moment, with a potential retainer after we go in and we finish the project. So our project is our program. So if you come to us and you say, hey, Zach, I want to use IMEO to help build out my objectives and key results program. And I'm like, okay, that's great. When do you want to have this executed by? So let's say it's December right now. They want to have it up and running, one full cycle done by June of 2023. Well, that's great. But I'm going to charge, let's say we start in January, I'm going to charge for that 6 months based off of the project and the hours that we're going to work. Now, some people won't agree with that. That's perfectly fine. This is how we've chosen to do it. But that is how we're going to make income. Now, on top of that, what are some upsells or expansions? Now, I mentioned that you can have a retainer. So let's say that we get to the end of 6 months and this customer feels confident in their OKR program, but they just want to double check and triple check and make sure that the way that they go about OKRs on their own is with a little bit of guidance from us on a retainer. So we can set up another 6 month retainer, which means that now we had a 12-month revenue impact to our business. Now the retainer is going to be less, but that's perfectly fine, right? So that's another way that we can do it. Another option is that we have our specific OKR online course. Could we split that apart from the program and offer that on its own? Now, we already do this, but I'm just thinking out loud. So yes, we can. So we can push the OKR online course to serve as an additional revenue stream. And then earlier I mentioned the go-to-market operations. So it's not necessarily specifically for the OKR program, but we're going to do some go-to-market operations consultant projects. So whenever we bring in that, that's another stream of revenue. The goal and the idea and the purpose of revenue stream is basically to help you understand, do you have multiple streams of income? Does it rely specifically on this one program or this one software or this one tool or even this one client? That's what you're thinking about here. So I've gone into detail on pretty much all of these layers. So now the next thing that I want to do is go into how do we take this, apply it to a real company, which I'm going to go and do this for IMEO, and then we'll run through it really quickly. And then we're going to tap into, after this comes the strategic planning for the next 365 days, which will prepare us to talk about OKRs in the following video. So stay tuned for this next portion. All right, so I'm back here with IMEO, Improving Management, Employees, and Organizations Business Model Canvas for 2023. Now, this literally took me 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I paused the video. I created this based off of the template that I have. I'll link it in the description so you can download this template to use for your own company. But let me just go through this real quickly because we've already gone in detail. I've listed out the key partners. So GTM Hub, that's our technology partner. That's how we're going to drive the ability to offer our clients the top of the line OKR software. So the reason that we partner with them is because we don't have that offering. We offer coaching and consulting. So how could we take it to the next level? And that's exactly how we did it. Dana Growth, they provide us with certain leads specific on go-to-market opportunities and for OKR opportunities. Now, twofold there is it could get us into the door as a small GTM ops project, but then we can talk to the owners and talk about why OKRs are so important and ultimately close them as well. Now, one of the other things that we're working on in the background that we can't speak about right now is the potential reseller in the mix. So they would actually sell our services for us, and we would come in and execute on those deals or execute on those program deliveries. Now, some of the key activities is we really want to start offering webinars to help people understand OKRs better. And we want to do that free. We already do that through YouTube, but we want to do it through landing pages with the webinars so people can really understand the value and then right away possibly get a discount to the program. We're also going to be doing outbound efforts, or this is something that we're already doing that we're going to continue to do with LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, we're a B2B services company, so we are trying to connect with our people that we need to connect with, and that's where they live, which is on LinkedIn. And then just understanding and ensuring that our partner alignment is there based off of what type of partnership it is. So we want to have that alignment so they can bring us leads, we can bring them leads, we can have our current customers benefit from working with these partners and vice versa. Now, the key resources that we have is going to be our main product or our main program, which is OKR's Made Easy program package. We have our partnership referrals. We have our lead gen OKR guidebook. And then we have our OKR online course. Our value prop is we deliver OKRs to the entire organization from education to coaching and consulting. And as I mentioned, our partnership with GTM Hub allows us to give OKR software to our clients free or paid. So GTM Hub actually has a full-on free OKR software version. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. Then we also have experience in operations, which is why our program is comprehensive from education. We like to say embed, implement, or educate, implement, and embed, which means it becomes part of your culture and the reason that you succeed. Okay, our customer relationships. We're going to continue to engage through our social content, and that means LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm kind of listing the channels below: LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, partners, blogs, so on and so forth. That's where we're going to be able to connect with potential customers, but we're also going to leverage our customer agreements and SLAs with our customers, our current customers. And then the actual relationship and how we're going to interact with them is email, Slack, phone, and in person. So we're just laying them out here so we don't forget and that we remind our customers that's how we operate. Okay, customer segments. So this is where I was talking about the ICP or ideal customer profile. Industry, we want to work with startups to mid-market with a mission to impact the world in a positive way. That's what drives us. That's what motivates us. And we believe that if we work with them, then they'll be just as enthusiastic as we are about them. Number of employees, it could be, this is a large range, but it could be anywhere from 25 to 1,500 people in that organization with a revenue of 5 million to 50 million. The specific job titles that we're reaching out to are CEOs, chief of staffs, and then VP of ops. And then the last part is, what is the situation? Growth is happening, and they don't have a way to ensure if employees are producing the right outcomes from the business strategy. Now, we can go into more detail on this, but that's just kind of keeping it simple. Then our cost structure just listed some of the top costs that we have, which is going to be our hosting of on Squarespace, so our website, our CRM systems, which is a monthly cost, and then the LinkedIn automation, which lives inside of that, taxes, obviously, and then Google Ads. So those are really the main or the biggest ones that are on repeat that we have to factor in. And then the last piece is the revenue streams. Where are we bringing in revenue? So it's going to be our program package. It's going to be our online course, our go-to-market ops, ad hoc projects, the retainers from the OKR program, and then affiliate referrals. We have some, they're not necessarily partners, but we can refer their tools to some of our customers, and they're tools that we actually believe in, but we can get some affiliate referrals there. I put this together probably in a shorter time than it took me to explain here. But if you have any questions on how to approach this, or if you want somebody to walk you through it, then feel free to reach out to us at info at imeoconsulting.com. Now, what I think I'm actually going to do is break down the next structure of the video into that strategic planning, and then follow up on that one from the or into the OKRs video. And I think this is perfect timing, because by the time we release those next videos, you'll be starting into the new year, and you'll have everything from vision, mission, this business model canvas, your strategic planning, and how to turn your strategic planning into an actionable and executable structure with objectives and key results. Thanks so much for watching. and we'll see you on the next video.